Tim sat alone in the kitchen staring at the pile of unpaid bills in front of him. The apartment was quiet except for the sound of rain tapping against the windows. A hospital payment reminder. Electric bills. Rent overdue. An email from his boss marked urgent. He rubbed his face slowly and sighed. Then suddenly, soft footsteps approached behind him. Hana stood at the doorway wearing one of his oversized hoodies, her arms folded tightly across her chest. "Are you coming to bed?" she asked softly. Tim quickly flipped the papers over. "In a minute." Hana looked at him for a few seconds before speaking again. "You've been saying that every night." Tim forced a smile. "I'm just tired." Hana nodded slowly, but her eyes already looked hurt. "You keep saying that like it explains everything." Tim looked away. If you enjoy emotional relationship stories like this, don't forget to like the video and subscribe because this story gets even deeper. The next morning, Hana woke up alone again. Tim had already left for work. No goodbye kiss. No breakfast together. Nothing. She stared at an old photo on her phone from when they first met. Back then, Tim used to call her during lunch breaks just to hear her voice. He used to surprise her with flowers outside her dance studio. Some nights they stayed awake till morning talking about dreams, marriage, and the future. Now it felt like she was living with a stranger. That evening, Tim finally came home after 10 p.m. The moment he walked in, Hana noticed how exhausted he looked. His tie was loose. His eyes were red. Still, he tried to smile. "You ate already?" he asked. Hana crossed her arms. "That's all you have to say to me now?" Tim froze. "What do you mean?" "You barely talk to me anymore, Tim." "I'm here, aren't I?" "That's not the same thing." Silence filled the room. Hana walked closer. "Did I do something wrong?" Tim immediately looked up. "No." "Then why does it feel like you're disappearing from me?" Tim exhaled slowly and sat down. For a moment, he said nothing. Then finally, "Because I'm drowning, Hana." Her expression softened instantly. Tim leaned back and laughed bitterly. "You know what's funny? Everybody thinks marriage makes life easier." He shook his head. "My cousin lost his job 2 months ago. He keeps calling me for help. Hospitals keep sending bills for your mom's treatment. My company is cutting workers, and every day my boss acts like I'm next. The rent just increased again. I haven't slept properly in weeks." Hana stood there speechless. Tim stared at the floor. "Every morning I wake up feeling like one mistake could destroy everything." For the first time, Hana noticed his hands trembling slightly. Tim continued quietly. "Everybody asks if the bills are paid, nobody asks if I'm okay." That line hit Hana hard. She slowly sat beside him. If you've made it this far, comment below. Communication matters. Tim laughed softly again. "You know what's worse?" Hana looked at him. "I didn't even know how to talk about it." He swallowed hard. "Where I come from, men handle things quietly. You don't complain. You don't break down. You solve the problem. And if you can't?" Tim looked at her with tired eyes. "Then you suffer in silence." Hana's eyes began watering. "Tim. I thought I was protecting you." His voice cracked slightly. "I didn't want you seeing me weak." Hana immediately shook her head. "So instead you pushed me away?" Tim stayed silent. "You know what I started thinking?" Hana whispered. "That maybe you stopped loving me." Tim looked shocked. "I even wondered if there was another woman." "Hana, no." "Then why did you shut me out?" Tim covered his face with his hands. "Because I was scared." That was the first honest thing he had said in months. Hana moved closer until their knees touched. "You don't have to carry everything alone." Tim looked at her silently. Hana reached for his hand. I didn't marry you just for the strong version of you. Tears slowly filled Tim's eyes. I married the tired version too. The room became quiet again. But this time, it felt different. Hana gently rested her forehead against his. Tim closed his eyes. For the first time in months, he allowed himself to breathe. Then Hana smiled softly. Come to bed. Tim finally smiled back. Not the fake smile he gave the world. A real one. As they walked toward the bedroom, Tim pulled her gently closer by the waist, kissing her forehead slowly while she wrapped her arms around his neck. No words. Just warmth. Just love. And for the first time in a long time, neither of them felt alone. Before this story ends, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share if this touched your heart. Because sometimes the strongest people are the ones silently begging to be understood.